All stations verify ready for launch. FTS.
FTS go.
Props go. AVI.
AVI's go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, and welcome to our live coverage of the EchoStar XXV mission for our customer, EchoStar. SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket is currently awaiting liftoff from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida, with launch scheduled for 12:19 a.m. Eastern Time. Hello everyone, my name is Zachary Lupin, and I'm an avionics supply chain engineer here at SpaceX, and thank you for joining us tonight. At T-minus 11 minutes and 25 seconds until launch, teams are currently tracking no issues, and weather is currently 95% go, with only a very small chance of a cumulus cloud rule violation. If we scrub tonight, however, a backup opportunity is available tomorrow, March 10th, with the same launch window. Now, as I just mentioned, tonight's payload is for our customer, EchoStar. EchoStar XXV is a direct broadcast satellite for Dish TV, launching to a geostationary transfer orbit. The satellite is equipped to provide high-quality service across the entire United States, including all 50 states and Puerto Rico. Built on the flight-proven 1300 class platform, this satellite represents the next step in EchoStar's nearly 30-year collaboration with Lanteris Space Systems. EchoStar XXV will modernize EchoStar's fleet by replacing older spacecraft in a seamless transition that will require no changes to customer equipment. The satellite will be receiving a variety of live video signals from Dish TV's ground stations across the country, and then amplify those signals and beams to customers' receivers back on Earth. So while the countdown continues, let's take a moment to learn about EchoStar.
45 years ago, EchoStar set out to change the way the world communicates, without knowing if it would work. There was no precedent, certainly no playbook. Then in 1995 came an opportunity, our own satellite, but odds that said it might not even leave the ground.
Cable had just started a decade before and didn't go everywhere, and particularly didn't go to small town America. This satellite dish was another way to get TV. If we could deliver that, this could be a good business.
People thought we were crazy. The risk was in not doing anything. Failure wasn't an option. We were going to be successful. It was going to work.
And when it did, Dish Network, an EchoStar company, was born.
We were problem solvers. We were helping people connect to entertainment in a way that they couldn't connect to before.
That same belief in what's possible drives us today. Our next-generation satellite, EchoStar XXV, built by Lanteris Space Systems, is designed to serve our entire customer base for the next 15 years and beyond, delivering the sports, news, and entertainment millions of customers count on every single day, with the goal to continue providing the best TV for years to come. Every generation of this company has invested in the future. This launch continues that tradition. It's a commitment to our customers, to our employees, and to the long-term health of our business. This launch also reflects the strength of our long-standing collaboration with SpaceX, built over nearly a decade of shared missions. From the first commercial launch from the historic Pad 39A at Kennedy Space Center, to deploying one of the heaviest commercial satellites ever flown on a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket, each mission has pushed what is possible. Back in 1995, EchoStar took a leap into the unknown. Today, we move forward with clarity, confidence, and decades of experience behind us.
It's not about what's going to happen next week, next month, next year. It's where are we going to be in 3 years, where are we going to be in 5 years.
The technology has changed, but the mission hasn't. To change the way the world communicates. This launch carries that mission forward, connecting millions of people for years to come.
Back in March of 2017, SpaceX launched EchoStar 23, the first commercial launch from historic Pad 39A at Kennedy Space Center. That same year, we launched the EchoStar 105 SES-11 mission. And then in 2021, Echo Global 3 launched on one of our early rideshare missions, Transporter 2. A couple of years later, in July of 2023, Jupiter 3 launched on a SpaceX Falcon Heavy. And weighing in at over 9 metric tons, Jupiter 3 is one of the heaviest commercial satellites ever deployed. And more recently, EchoStar and SpaceX entered into a purchase agreement to enable the next generation of the Starlink mobile constellation that will provide broadband capabilities directly to mobile phones. Future service will deliver high bandwidth video calls, streaming, emails, native calling, and more. The agreement provides SpaceX with 50 megahertz of exclusive S-band spectrum in the United States, as well as global mobile satellite service, or MSS, spectrum licenses.
Has started.
Now, Starlink's satellite-to-mobile service will be available to EchoStar's Boost Mobile customers when the next-generation technology launches. And we're honored to continue supporting EchoStar as we prepare to launch EchoStar 25 tonight. So until then, let's take a closer look at the launch vehicle supporting tonight's mission. The Falcon 9 rocket there on your screen is a two-stage rocket designed for the reliable and safe transportation of satellites, cargo, and people. Starting from the very top of the rocket, we have the payload fairing. The fairing is a protective shell that houses all of the payloads, shielding them from aerodynamic heating.
Stage 1 RP1 load complete.
And good news there. The fairing is a protective shell that houses all of the payloads, shielding them from aerodynamic heating until the vehicle is outside of the Earth's atmosphere. The shape of that fairing contributes to Falcon 9's overall efficiency, helping to reduce aerodynamic drag during ascent. And within that fairing is the payload, which is, of course, the EchoStar 25 spacecraft. And here's a photo from midway through the encapsulation operation, just before the fairing halves were closed in preparation for flight. And now here's a live view of EchoStar 25 housed within the fairing. Now, as you can see, this is a big satellite, roughly the size of a motorhome. Its solar arrays alone span over 100 feet when deployed. Now, once in space, those two fairing halves will separate and fall back to Earth, where they'll be recovered by our recovery vessel, Doug, to be refurbished and reused on future flights. And both halves are flight proven, with one half flying for its 8th time and the other flying for its 27th time tonight. Located right below the fairing is Falcon 9's second stage, which houses a single Merlin vacuum engine, or MVAC. And below that second stage is the black carbon fiber inner stage, where that MVAC engine is housed. Now, the inner stage connects the first and second stages together and contains the pusher mechanism that allows the stages to separate during flight. And right below the inner stage is the first stage, or booster, that is just about fully loaded with 1 million pounds of liquid
Falcon 9
oxygen.
tanks are pressing for Shongback retract.
And good call out there. Just about fully loaded with 1 million pounds of liquid oxygen and rocket propellant 1, or RP1. Now, like the fairings, the booster supporting this mission is also flight proven and will be making its 14th flight tonight. Now, the first stage makes up the bottom 2/3 of the vehicle overall and has 9 Merlin M1D engines at the bottom, which generate more than 1.7 million pounds of thrust. Now, about 2.5 minutes in,
Strong back retract has started.
and there we just heard that call out that the strong back retraction has started. First, we'll be seeing those clamp arms opening around the second stage, and then we'll eventually see the strong back actually retract away from the vehicle. And you can see those clamp arms opening around the very top portion of the second stage there on your screen. Now, with those clamp arms open, we should start to see the strong back begin to retract away from Falcon 9. Now, the strong back is also called out as the TE, and the TE plays a crucial role for any given Falcon mission. It rolls Falcon 9 out to the pad, raises it vertical, and stays connected through the final seconds before liftoff. It also provides fuel, power, telemetry, and command connections between ground systems on the rocket. And there you can see the TE starting to move away from the Falcon vehicle. Coming up in just about 15 seconds, we should be hearing a call out for stage 1 LOX loading completion, which will signify LOX loading being finished up on the Falcon 9 first stage.
Stage 1 LOX load is complete.
And there's that call out. Now in about 50 seconds, we'll hear an additional call out for the second stage LOX loading completion. And then at that point, Falcon 9 will be fully loaded with 1 million pounds of RP1 and liquid oxygen. Now you can also see those white clouds around the Falcon 9 rocket, and that isn't smoke, that's condensation. As the liquid oxygen warms slightly inside the tanks, some of it boils off, and that gas is vented to manage pressure. And when the vented oxygen hits the warm and humid outside air, it instantly condenses into clouds. In just a few moments, we should be hearing that call out for second stage LOX loading completion.
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
And there's that call out. As a reminder, Falcon 9 is now fully loaded with 1 million pounds of liquid oxygen and RP1. Now coming up at the T-1 minute mark, we will hear a call out that Falcon 9 is in startup. And that will mean that the vehicle's flight computers will have taken over the count.
Gas launch closeouts has started.
And there we heard that call out that gas closeout has started, and that refers to venting and closing out gaseous systems, such as topping off tanks and sealing the vents to maintain pressure. We should be hearing that call out for Falcon 9 startup in just a few moments.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
And good news there that Falcon 9 is in startup. Now we're just waiting on the LD to give the final go for tonight's mission.
Launch director, go for launch.
And great news there, our launch director is go for tonight's mission. So let's sit back and watch as Falcon launches the EchoStar XXV satellite to space.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff. Go Falcon, go EchoStar 25.
Vehicle is approaching downrange.
M1D chamber pressures are nominal.
At T plus 30 seconds into flight, Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. And we're currently throttling down the M1D engines on the booster to prepare it for max Q, which is the point of maximum aerodynamic
Power and
stresses.
telemetry nominal.
Which is the point of maximum aerodynamic stresses on the vehicle. Now, max Q is reached when the air density of the atmosphere decreases faster than the increasing speed of the rocket.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
We should be hearing that call out for max Q in just a few moments from now.
Max Q.
And there's that call out for max Q. Now from here on, even though velocity is rapidly increasing, the atmospheric density is decreasing, resulting in lesser dynamic loads on Falcon 9. Now next up, we're going to have several events happening in quick succession, starting with MECO, followed by stage separation, then second engine start, or SES1, and finally...
I'm back, chill.
And good news there. And finally, fairing deploy. Main engine cutoff, or MECO, is where all 9 Merlin 1D engines will shut down to slow the vehicle down in preparation for stage separation, where the first stage will separate from the second stage. Then the MVAC engine on the second stage will light, which will be called out as second engine start 1, or SES1. Now this engine burn lasting several minutes will propel the second stage and our payload to orbit. After that, the fairings will jettison from the second stage as they're no longer needed to protect the payload once it's in space. Now we should be hearing the start of the sequence of events in just about 10 seconds from now.
Miko.
Stage separation confirmed.
I'm back, startup.
And there you heard and saw those first three events that happened back to back, which were main engine cutoff, and then stage separation, and finally second engine start 1. Now this first burn of the MVAC engine is set to last about 5.5 minutes. And coming up in just a few moments, we'll see the deployment of the payload fairings.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And there you heard confirmation of fairing deploy. Now both of the fairing halves will fall back to Earth and make soft water landings and then be recovered by our recovery vessel, Doug. Now the next major milestone coming up will be the entry burn on our Falcon 9 first stage, which is scheduled to occur just past the T plus 6.5 minute mark. Now the entry burn is used to slow the vehicle stage down as it heads towards our drone ship, a short fall of gravitas in the Atlantic Ocean. Now tonight, Falcon 9 is performing 2 burns in order to land. The first burn, known as the entry burn, slows the vehicle down before hitting the denser parts of the Earth's atmosphere. And without this burn, we'd only be using the atmospheric drag to slow down Falcon 9, which would add extra stress to the vehicle. Now following that entry burn, the booster will then a short while later initiate the landing burn, which will slow the vehicle.
Both vehicles are following nominal trajectories.
Good news there. Following that entry burn, the booster will then a short while later initiate the landing burn, which will slow the vehicle down even further for a soft touchdown on our drone ship. Falcon 9 is also equipped with 4 hypersonic titanium grid fins positioned near the top of the first stage that help steer it as it returns to Earth. And you may also see white puffs from time to time coming off the booster, and that is cold nitrogen gas, which also helps with attitude control. And we've got an amazing view of the payload there on your screen right now. Now, as a reminder, the Falcon 9 booster, not currently on your screen, but the booster supporting tonight's mission is flying for its 14th time, having previously supported NASA Crew 9, FROM 2, GPS 3-7, 3 commercial missions, and 7 separate Starlink missions. Now we're just about 45 seconds away from that, about a minute and a half away from that entry burn of the Falcon 9 first stage, and we're continuing to get amazing views of the MVAC engine on the second stage, as well as our EchoStar XXV payload. Now, when Falcon 9 fires up the center M1D engine for re-entry, the vehicle will be flying through Merlin's exhaust gases, also known as the rocket's plume, which deposits a layer of soot on the vehicle's surface. And you'll see these marks across the flight-proven Falcon 9 first stage fleet. That soot comes from the carbon-based fuel that Falcon 9 uses, and with each flight, the soot builds up a little more on the outside skin of the rocket. We're just under 30 seconds away from the start of the entry burn of the Falcon 9 first stage.
Stage 1 FTSS safed. Stage 1 engine burn startup.
And there's that confirmation of the entry burn on the Falcon 9 first stage. And you can see those graphics lit up as the engines did on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. Now this burn will last for about 30 seconds and again is slowing down the vehicle in preparation for its final burn and landing before touchdown on our drone ship, a shortfall of gravitas.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And there's conclusion of the entry burn on the Falcon 9 first stage. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we will be attempting to recover this booster with our drone ship, a shortfall of gravitas, currently stationed in the Atlantic Ocean.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
And good news there that Stage 2 is in terminal guidance. Now, the next major milestone coming up in just about 30 seconds from now will be second engine cutoff 1, or SECO 1, indicating shutdown of the MVAC engine on the second stage. And this will be completion of the first of 2 burns by the MVAC engine to get the vehicle into the proper orbit for payload deployment. We should be hearing that call
Stage 2 FTS is safed.
And the good news there, we should be hearing that call out for SECO 1 in just a few
Stage
moments.
1 transonic.
MVAC shutdown.
And there we got confirmation of SECO 1 of the MVAC engine on the second stage.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And there's our confirmation of good orbit. Now coming up in just a few moments, we should be hearing that. And there's that landing burn of the
Stage
Falcon
1
9
landing burn startup.
first stage. Now as that burn happens, you'll see a drastic decrease in the speed and altitude of the vehicle.
Stage 1 landing leg deployed. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And fantastic news there, as you saw and heard, successful first stage landing of our Falcon 9 booster. Now as a reminder, this booster flew for its 14th time tonight. Now while the booster has completed its part of the mission, payload deployment is expected at around the T plus 32.5 minute mark. And before that, the MVAC engine on the second stage will execute a second burn starting at around T plus 26.5 minutes. So we're going to take a short break and we'll be back for the next burn in about 15 minutes. Welcome back to our live coverage of the EchoStar 25 mission. EchoStar 25 is a direct broadcast satellite for Dish TV, launching to a geostationary transfer orbit tonight. The satellite is equipped to provide high-quality service across the entire United States, including all 50 states and Puerto Rico. EchoStar 25 will receive a variety of live video signals from Dish TV's ground stations across the country and then amplify those signals and beams to customers' receivers back on Earth. Now, it's been a great launch and overall mission so far. We had an on-time liftoff at 12:19 a.m. Eastern Time, and we recovered the first stage for its 14th launch and landing. The MVAC engine on the second stage ignited just a couple minutes after liftoff, also known as Second Engine Start 1, or SES-1, and that engine burn lasted about 5.5 minutes, propelling the second stage and the EchoStar 25 payload to orbit. Now, coming up in just under a minute, the Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage will execute a second burn to get the vehicle into the proper injection orbit. And we've got some amazing views of both the MVAC engine and the EchoStar 25 payload currently flying over Africa. And we should be hearing that call out for Second Engine Start 2, or SES-2, in just about 10 seconds from now. And as you saw on your screen, we did see light up of the second burn of the MVAC engine, and this burn will last just under a minute. And we should be hearing that call out for shutdown in just a few moments from now.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And there's that confirmation of good orbit, and we saw shutdown of the MVAC engine on the second stage. And with that, we'll have just one more milestone, which is payload deploy. And that is coming up at the T+32 minute and 41 second mark. So we'll take another short break and see you back here in just under 3 minutes. And we are back for the final moments of the EchoStar 25 mission. Just as a reminder, EchoStar 25 is a direct broadcast satellite for Dish TV, launching to a geostationary transfer orbit. Now, this satellite is equipped to provide high-quality service across the entire United States, including all 50 states and Puerto Rico. Now, just a few minutes ago, we had a successful MVAC engine relight on the second stage, and this burn, lasting just under a minute, put the vehicle into the proper trajectory for payload deploy. Now, that payload deployment is set to happen in just over a minute from now, and we have some spectacular views of the Earth from the second stage camera and the camera on the EchoStar 25 satellite. Now, EchoStar 25 will receive a variety of live video signals from Dish TV's ground stations across the country, and then will amplify those signals and beams to customers' receivers back on Earth. EchoStar 25 will also modernize EchoStar's fleet by replacing older spacecraft in a seamless transition that will require no actual changes to customer equipment. And we should be hearing that call out for payload deployment in just about 10 seconds from now. Now, as a reminder, we're just waiting for payload deployment of the EchoStar 25 satellite from our Falcon 9 second stage, and we continue to have spectacular views of the Earth in the background there. As a reminder, EchoStar 25 is a direct broadcast satellite for Dish TV, and it's launching to a geostationary transfer orbit on tonight's mission. Now, built on the flight-proven 1300 class platform, this satellite represents the next step in EchoStar's nearly 30-year collaboration with Lantera Space Systems. And we should be just a few moments away from payload deployment.
Payload separation confirmed.
And as you heard, successful deployment of the EchoStar 25 satellite from the Falcon 9 second stage. And we've got an amazing view on our screen right now as the satellite separates away. Now that'll be bringing us to the end of our live mission coverage. We would like to thank EchoStar for entrusting us with their spacecraft tonight. Be sure to check spacex.com/launches for the most up-to-date information on upcoming missions, and follow us at SpaceX on X. And we'll see you back here for more launch coverage soon.